Today's topic is herpes virus. So, introduction. It is a kind of enveloped DNA virus, isocoheral core surrounded by the lipoprotein envelope. So here the DNA, it is surrounded by the capsid and around that the envelope, and around that the glycoprotein spikes are present. So this is the first introduction of the herpes virus. Then classification. 8 human herpes virus species are known. Herpes simplex virus type 1, type 2, varicella zoster virus, cytomegalovirus, and Epstein-Barr virus. Epstein-Barr virus and human herpes virus type 6, 7, and 8.
Straight go. He is student and
Then the classification. It's also classified based on the biological characteristics. Then it can be alpha herpes virus, beta herpes virus, and the gamma herpes virus. The alpha herpes virus includes the herpes simplex 1, type 2, and varicella zoster virus. Then beta herpes virus, it includes the cytomegalovirus, herpes virus, human herpes virus type 6, type 7. And the gamma includes the Epstein-Barr virus and the human herpes type of virus 8. Then herpes simplex virus. The type 2 and type 1, the main two distinct criteria are the antigenicity and the location of the lesions. So herpes simplex virus type 1, it is above waist region. Usually it includes primarily seen in the adults. Acute stomatitis and recurrent herpes labialis, keratoconjunctivitis, and encephalitis are the most common conditions seen in the type 1. In the type 2 below the waist, usually genital herpes is the most common. And aseptic meningitis and neonatal encephalitis can also be seen. Humans are the natural hosts of both. Then transmission. Usually, herpes simplex virus type 1 is transmitted primarily in the saliva and type 2 by the sexual contact. Herpes simplex virus type 2 infections are markedly increased now comparatively. So these are the clinical findings of herpes simplex virus type 1. Causes the several forms of primary and recurrent diseases. Gingivostomatitis usually occurs in the children and is characterized by fever, irritability, vascular lesions in the mouth. The primary disease is more severe and lasts longer than the recurrences, and the lesions heal spontaneously in 2 to 3 weeks. Many children have asymptomatic primary infections. Herpes labialis, fever blisters or cold sores is milder and recurrent form, characterized by the corpse of vesicles, usually at the mucocutaneous junction of the lips or the nose. Recurrence frequently reappears at the same site. Keratoconjunctivitis is characterized by the corneal ulcerations, lesions of the conjunctival epithelium. Recurrence can lead to the scarring and blindness. Encephalitis, the necrotic lesions in the temporal lobe, usually is one of the temporal lobes, and the fever, headache, vomiting, seizures, and the altered sensorium are the main clinical features that are seen in encephalitis. Then clinical findings of type 1 are herpetic whitlow. In this, the pustular lesions of the skin of the hand or the fingers are seen. It can occur in a medical person as a result of contact with a patient's lesions. And these two are the other types of clinical findings that are seen in the type 1 virus. Herpes galladiatorum, Whistlers and the others who have close body contact, vascular lesions on the head, neck, and the trunk are seen. And esophagitis and pneumonia can be seen. Occurs in the immune compromised patients with depressed T cell function. So these are the pictures of the clinical findings of HSV. So HSV type 2, genital herpes. painful vesicular lesions of male and the female genital areas and the anal areas. The lesions are more severe and in the primary disease than in the recurrences. So primary infections are associated with fever, inguinal adenopathies, asymptomatic infections, source of the infection of the other individuals. So cervix in the women and prostate and urethra in the men. So neonatal herpes originates chiefly from the contact with the vesicular lesions within the birth canal. Varies from severe diseases to the mild local lesions that are seen on the skin, eye, and mouth to asymptomatic infections. Prevented by performing the cesarean sections. And neither HSV1 nor HSV2 causes congenital anomalies to any significant degree. Laboratory investigations. Isolation of the virus from the lesion by growth in the culture, means cell culture. It usually occurs within 1 to 2 days. Identified by fluorescent antibody staining, ELISA techniques. ZAC smear rapid diagnosis. Then in that multinucleated giant cells present in the vesicles. Serological tests as neutralization tests are done. So treatment acyclovir, penciclovir, and valcyclovir and famciclovir are used. Prevention: avoiding contact with the vesicular lesions or ulcers. Caesarean section is recommended for the women who are at term and who have the genital lesions or positive viral cultures. The next is the human herpes virus, in which varicella zoster causes two diseases, that is herpes zoster and the chickenpox. Now we'll discuss about the varicella zoster. Chickenpox, it is extremely contagious and usually benign illness of the childhood, characterized by the exanthematous vascular rash. Herpes zoster, it is with the reactivation of the latent varicella zoster virus, which commonly seen in the 6th decade of the life. Herpes zoster usually presents as a dermatomal vascular rash, usually associated with a severe pain. Restriction endonucleases analysis of the viral DNA from the patient with chickenpox who subsequently developed herpes zoster verified the molecular identity of the two viruses responsible for the two different clinical presentations. Chickenpox is an airborne disease, easily spreads while coughing, sneezing of the infected person. It may spread from 1 to 2 days before the rash appears and until all the lesions are crusted over. It may also spread through the contact of the blisters. Then this is the pathophysiology. All the initial, after the initial inhalation of the contaminated respiratory droplets, the virus infects the mucosa of the upper respiratory tract. Then viral proliferation occurs in the regional lymph nodes of the upper respiratory tract 2 to 4 days after the initial infection. This is followed by the primary viremia on post-infection days of 4th and 6th. The second round of viral replication occurs in the body's internal organs, mostly notably the liver and the spleen. And later, in the secondary case, secondary regions, it is characterized by the diffused viral invasion of the capillary endothelial cells and the epidermis. So main symptoms are rash, low-grade fever, and incubation period. Usually, these are the stages. Incubation period of the chickenpox ranges from 10 to 21 days, but it can be usually from 14 to 17 days. In this period, the patient is asymptomatic. Pre-eruptive stage. Few patients develops a prodrome 1 to 2 days before the onset of exanthema. Prodromal symptoms in the adolescents and the adults are nausea, loss of appetite, aching muscles, and the headache. The rash begins as a small red bumps like papules and that look like pimples or insect bites. The lesions are small and have erythematous base with a diameter of 5 to 10 mm. After another 12 to 24 hours, the spots typically becomes itching and fluid-filled vesicles, which continue to appear in crops of for next 2 to 5 days. The rash is very itchy, and the cold baths or calamine lotions may help in managing the itching. So the rash means first appears on the scalp, neck, face, and the upper half of the trunk, and very rapidly spreads to the other areas of the body. The blisters can spread to cover much of the skin, and in some cases may be found inside the mouth, nose, ears, vagina, and rectum. Complications of the chickenpox. The most common infectious complications is the secondary bacterial superinfection of the skin, which is usually caused by streptococcus and staphylococcus that are methicillin resistant. The skin infections results from excoriation of the lesion after the scratching. The gram staining of the skin should help to clarify the etiology. So then the next complication is varicella pneumonia, the most serious complication following the chickenpox. Develops more commonly in the adults than in children, and in particularly severe in the pregnant women. The pneumonia usually due to varicella zoster virus usually has its onset 3 to 5 days into the illness and is associated with tachypnea, cough, dyspnea, and fever. Cyanosis, pleuritic chest pain, and hemoptysis are common. X-ray evidences the disease consists of nodular infiltrates and interstitial pneumonitis. Resolution of the pneumonitis parallels improvement of the skin rash. However, the patient may have persistent fever and compromised pulmonary function for weeks. Then the CNS complications. These are the benign complications of varicella zoster infection in the children. Generally does not require hospitalization. Epileptic meningitis, encephalitis, transverse myelitis, GV syndrome can occur. Encephalitis is reported in 0.1 to 0.2% of the children with the chickenpox. Cerebellar ataxia can also be seen. So it is also a CNS complication. Then herpes zoster is also caused by varicella zoster virus, as we already read it. The main symptoms of the herpes zoster are unilateral vesicular dermatomal eruptions, a rash, and the severe pain. In the prodromal stage of herpes zoster, the diagnosis can be exceedingly difficult and may be made out only after the lesions have appeared or by serological assessment. The early symptom of zoster is herpes zoster includes the headache, fever, body pains, which are non-specific and may result in the incorrect diagnosis. These symptoms are commonly followed by the sensation of burning pain, itching, hyperesthesia or paresthesias, tingling, pricking or numbness like sensations. Pins and needles like sensations can be present. The pain can be mild to extreme in the affected dermatomal region with the sensation that are often described as stinging or tingling or aching, numbing or throbbing type of pain. Usually, if the herpes zoster occurs in the children, it is often painless, but the people are more likely to get herpes at the age of around sixth decade of age. And during that time, the disease tends to be more severe. So localization of the rash, the pain and the rash most commonly occurs on the torso, but appears on face, eyes, and other parts of the body. At first, the rash appears similar to the presence of urticaria. So they usually, it is limited to causes skin changes limited to a dermatome. normally resulting in a belt-like pattern that is limited to one side of the body and does not crosses the midline. Is the main, it does not crosses the midline and it is limited to one side of the body. So day 1 it appears like this, day 2, by day 6 it appears like this, crusted over. In normal host, the lesions may remain few in number and continue only for 3 to 5 days. But total duration of the disease is generally 7 to 10 days. It may take as long as 2 to 4 weeks for the skin to return to the normal. These are complications of herpes zoster. If the ophthalmic branch of the trigeminal nerve is involved, then zoster ophthalmicus results. You can see the blisters. Post-herpetic neuralgia. This is the most important complication. In both normal and immune compromised hosts, the complication it is associated with is pain associated with acute neuritis and neuralgia. It is uncommon in young individuals. However, at least 50% of the zoster patients over the age of 50 years report some degree of pain in the involved dermatomes month after the resolution of the cutaneous diseases. So there is also the sensational changes in the dermatomal area resulting in hypo or hyperesthesia are common. This is another complication of herpes zoster, Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. It usually involves the ear. It is thought to result from the virus spreading from the facial nerve to the vestibulocochlear nerve. Symptoms include the hearing loss and the vertigo. So the CNS complications may follow the localized herpes zoster. Many patients without the symptoms of meningeal irritations have moderately elevated level of CSF and pleocytosis, CSF protein and pleocytosis. The symptomatic meningoencephalitis is characterized by headache, fever, photophobia, meningitis, vomitings. So these are others are the very rare complications. Transverse myelitis with or without motor paralysis can also be seen. So the treatment of the both chickenpox and the herpes zoster will be discussing now. Medical management of chickenpox in the immunological normal host is directed towards the prevention of the avoidable complications. That is like the secondary bacterial superinfections. Those all should be avoided with giving the proper antibiotics. Obviously, good hygiene, including the daily bathing. Secondary bacterial infections of the skin can be avoided by the skin care, proper skin care, and particularly close cropping of the fingernails. Pruritus can be decreased with topical dressings or administration of antipyretic drugs. Water baths and wet compresses are better than the drying solution for the relief of itching. So these are the medical managements. And the antiviral drugs for adults with chickenpox, acyclovir, it is given around 800 mg 5 times a day orally, and the remaining 2 drugs are also used. The duration of the treatment is around 5 to 7 days. It's recommended. Antiviral therapy can be helpful if it is started within 24 to 48 hours of the symptoms presentation. So this is used for both chickenpox and the herpes zoster. In severely immune compromised hosts like transplantation done patients or the patients with lymphoproliferative malignancies, chickenpox should be treated with IV acyclovir, which reduces the occurrence of the visceral complications. The dose is around 10 mg per kg every 8th hourly for 7 days. For low risk immune compromised hosts, oral therapy is sufficient. So the prevention of the chickenpox, the first step is a live attenuated varicella vaccine. It is recommended for all children more than 1 year of age up to 12 years who have not had chickenpox, and for the adults known to be seronegative for varicella zoster virus. 2 doses are recommended for all the children, first at 12 to 15 months of age and second at 4 to 6 years of age. For the seronegative persons more than 13 years of age should receive the 2 doses of vaccine at least 1 month apart. Then the second approach is to administer the immunoglobulins to the individuals who are susceptible and are at high risk for developing the complications of varicella and have had a significant exposure. Should be given, this product should be given within 96 hours of exposure, most preferably 72 hours. Then the third approach, antiviral therapy can be given as prophylaxis to the individuals at the high risk who are ineligible for vaccine or who are beyond 96 hours window period after the direct contact. While the initial studies have used acyclovir, similar benefits are also seen with the acyclovir and the other drugs. The therapy is instituted 7 days after the intensive exposure. So the treatment of neuralgia, gabapentin, pregabalin, amitriptyline, these are the drugs used to and these drugs are drugs used to relieve the pain. And the glucocorticoid therapy can accelerate the quality of life improvements, including the return to the usual activity. The dose of prednisone 60 mg per day on days 1 to 7 and later 30 mg per day from day 8 to 14 and 15 mg on per day from 15th day to 21st day. So it can be used in a appropriately used can in a relatively healthy elderly persons with moderate to severe pain at the presentation, and the patients with osteoporosis, diabetes, glucosuria, hypertension may not be the appropriate candidates for the glucocorticoid therapies. The next is the cytomegalovirus. It is a double-stranded DNA virus and largest genome of the herpes virus group. So these are the clinical features. Transmission is by the close contact. It is sexually transmitted and can be removed. It is present in all the body fluids such as saliva, urine, semen, and the cervical secretions. Clinical features, highly infectious rate in the early childhood and early adulthood, usually asymptomatic, but systemic presentations like pneumonia, hepatitis can be present. In like HIV patients, diarrhea and retinitis can be the presentation. So congenital cytomegalovirus is the most common type, of the presentation. Most infants appear normal at the birth, may develop hearing loss or mental retardation often later. Infants with the symptomatic illnesses at birth demonstrate hepatosplenomegaly, jaundice, anemia, low birth weight, microcephaly, rash and thrombocytopenia. So usually approximately 10% of the congenitally infected will have the symptoms at the time of birth like hepatomegaly, petechiae, jaundice, chorioretinitis, microcephaly. Diagnosis and the treatment. So isolation of the virus, electron microscopy, serology, and PCR, DNA amplification by PCR. The treatment is hyperimmunoglobulin and ganciclovir. Then Epstein-Barr virus, the DNA envelope. Etiology, it's an etiological agent of infectious mononucleosis and the Burkitt's lymphoma. Recent studies has suggested it has linked with Hodgkin's lymphoma, cultured only in lymphoblastoid cell lines derived from the B lymphocytes of the human and the higher pirates, sorry, primates. So the transmission is usually contact with the infected secretions. It's low contagious. It can be cultured from the throat washings. So these are the main symptoms of infectious mononucleosis. Central nervous system involvement like fatigue, loss of, headache, throat soreness and redness, visual photophobia, tonsillitis, even redness, white patches like oral leukoplakia. Respiratory cough can be present and systemic fever, chills and aches. Lymphadenopathy can be present, spleen enlargement, abdominal pain, and nausea are the other features. If the symptom, usually it is asymptomatic. If the symptoms persist, young adults like low fever, sore throat, fatigue, and night chills, severe enlarged spleen and the lymph nodes, elevated lymphocytes, monocytes, and atypical lymphocytes. Usually complications are the laryngeal obstruction, mm, meningitis, encephalitis, hemolytic anemia. These are the other complications. Thrombocytopenia or the splenic rupture may occur in 1 to 5% of the patients. So diagnosis by the clinical picture in the blood, complete blood picture is atypical lymphocytes are usually seen. Serology, it is more expensive, demonstrate antibodies to the viral capsid antigen, which rages quickly and persists for the life. So culture, high titrates of BCM in or no titrates of Epstein-Barr and nucleic acid suggests that recent infection is present. Cultures usually positive in acute illnesses, but asymptomatic viral shedding is so common. Then the treatment, it is supportive treatment. Acyclovir is used for the suppression of the replication process. No vaccine is available. Then the humans herpes virus 6. It is detected in the patient with lymphoproliferative diseases, genetically distinct but morphologically similar to the other herpes viruses. It replicates in the lymphoid tissues, preferentially in the T lymphocytes. Serological studies indicate that almost all the children are infected by age 5, spread by the close personal contact or by respiratory route. So reactivated in the transplanted patients, and the treatment is acyclovir in 15 to 30% absorbed by the oral route. Rosola infantum is the disease which is caused by the human herpes virus 6. Then the human herpes virus 7 is discovered in 1990, isolated from the activated CD4 plus type of T lymphocytes. It is distinct from the other known human herpes viruses, but closely related to the type 6, human herpes virus type 6. Infects most children by the age of 2 years, and 97% of the adults are seropositive. The diagnosis of the acute infection by the seroconversion. Then the herpes virus type 8, Kaposi sarcoma associated herpes virus. It is discovered as a herpes virus sequence in the 8 related Kaposi sarcoma patients. Kaposi sarcoma associated herpes virus DNA has been detected in the cells from lymphoproliferative diseases. Recently, this type 8 herpes virus was isolated in the cultures and closely related to the Epstein-Barr virus. It preferentially infects B lymphocytes like Epstein-Barr virus. In addition, immunosuppression, and these are the main causes for this, appears to be sexually transmitted type 8 virus. Interferon alpha can be effective in the treatment of human herpes. This is a summary. Usually, these are the sites of latency, recurrent infections, and route of transmissions. So, herpes simplex virus 1, it's transmitted through the respiratory secretions and the saliva. And type 2, it is due to sexual contact and perinatal infections. And varicella via respiratory infections. Recurrent, it causes zoster. And Epstein-Barr virus via respiratory secretions and the saliva. And cytomegalovirus, intrauterine infections, transfusion, sexual contacts, and via secretions. And type 8 virus, it is usually through sexual contact and or organ transplantation. So this is all about the herpes virus. And the next topic is smallpox. Smallpox is caused by variola virus. Types, it is major and minor that are responsible. Infection is from man to man through droplet. Then the virus enters the respiratory tract, uh, and its proliferation and all occurs within 10 to 12 days. The lesions localized in the small blood vessels of the skin, mouth, throat, etc. And the incubation period is around 12 days. So prodromal phase is with fever and like body pains and lasts for around 4 to 5 days. But by 12 to 15 days, the rash develops over the skin and the mucosal membranes. The rash mainly affects the face, trunk, and the extremities, and the distal and the proximal parts of the extremities, including the palms. The rash develops within 24 to 36 hours. The rash becomes papules, and later on, by third to fourth day, it becomes umbilicated postulate with filled with tissue pustules with filled with tissue debris. And by the second week, the pustules deflate and scabbing occurs, causing the scars. This is a presentation. Usually, chickenpox, the central area is mostly involved, and in the smallpox, the face, the extremities, distal portion of the extremities are most commonly involved. Central trunk and face is most commonly involved in the chickenpox. The diagnosis is by light microscopy, electron microscopy, demonstrates the viral particles in the vesicular fluids. So the complications are the secondary the secondary infections, eye complications due to ulcerations, bronchopneumonia, and post-infective encephalitis and osteomyelitis are the complications. So treatment, there is no specific treatment for the smallpox. The suspected cases should be handled with strict isolation procedure. Only the supportive treatment with IV fluids, paracetamol for the fever, and the pain relief should be given. So this is the smallpox, and already it is eradicated around in 1972. But the vaccination is present for the prevention of the smallpox. The next topic is the yellow fever. Yellow fever, it is an acute viral hemorrhagic type of fever caused by the flavivirus. It's mainly affecting the monkeys and the other vertebrates. The topical disease that is passed from the monkeys to the humans. It's most commonly seen in Africa. Yellow fever, flavivirus is the cause. It is infected from other infected humans and the monkeys. It is transmitted. It cannot be spread from person to person. So the host factors, all ages, both sexes, and the persons in contact with the forests, woodcutters, and the hunters. Once the a person is attacks with yellow fever, it gives the lifelong immunity. The environmental factors are the climate, tropical with relative humidity, and jungles, urbanization, and more populated forest near areas. The signs and symptoms, as it indicates, a yellow fever, jaundice, red eyes, headache, joint pains, fever, vomitings, backache, and the body aches, bleeding, and the muscle aches, myalgias, and hepatomegaly are usually present. The diagnosis and the management of the yellow fever, it is by blood investigations and the supportive treatment with IV fluids and paracetamols and the pain and NSAIDs and antibiotics. The prevention is by using the mosquito nets or the mosquito nets. So the prevention and control, the vaccine that is available is 17D vaccine. It is given subcutaneously at 0.5 ml, and the immunity appears around 7 to 10 days, 7th to 10th day, and lasts for around more than 25 to 35 years. Thank you.